Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum and good day, my dear students. I am Sehrish Afzaal from Multan Public School and College for Boys and Girls, and I am your SST teacher. I hope you all are fine and learning a lot from these video lessons. Here is a title page of your book, Understanding History for Class 6, written by Ismat Riaz. In our previous lecture, we have started chapter 4, the Arya people, and we have learned few topics from this chapter. Let's continue this chapter again. Students, let's recapitulate the topics which we have studied in our last lecture. What does Arya mean? The word Arya is from Sanskrit language which means noble by birth. Who were the Aryans? Arya people came from northwest in the search of grazing land for their cattle and entered in India through Khyber Pass. Let's talk about the chronology of the Aryans. The period of Aryans was divided into early Vedic age and later Vedic age. Aryans have conflict with the Sas, the inhabitants of India. Later on, Aryans defeated them. Aryans laid the foundation of Hinduism and their religious record is written in Vedas, which is also called Vedic literature. This Vedic literature is further divided into Rigveda, Samaveda, Yajurveda, and Atharvaveda. They believed on so many gods like sun, moon, and sky. They have divided people into four main castes according to their profession. Priests and people associated with academics are Brahmins, which is their chief caste. Commanders, leaders, and kings belongs to Kshatriyas caste. Artists, farmers, and traders were called Vishyas, and workers and laborers belong to Shudra caste. Later on, they added one more caste into their caste system, which is called untouchables. These people expected to do dirty job. This is all about the previous topic which we have studied last week. So let's move on. Dear students, let's talk about the reforms of the Hindu religion. 1,000 years after the founding of their Hindu religion and culture, and it spread over the whole of the northern India, the Indo-Aryans people started to reject the strict control of the Brahmins and the injustice of the caste system. There arose two spiritual leaders in the 6th century. They were Vardhamana Mahavira and Gautama Buddha, and people started following these spiritual leaders. Dear students, let's talk about a new religion which arose around 6th century. After the rejection of strict control of the Brahmins and the injustice of the caste system, Mahavira founded the Jain religion. He was born in 550 BCE at Patna and came from a wealthy Kshatriya caste. He left his home to become a monk. He preached that one must stay away from sins and not harm anyone as all creatures in nature, such as insects, plants, animals, and human beings, could feel pain. Jainism also does not believe in the caste system. The followers of Jainism went on to become scholars and gave much attention to secular learning. They preserved ancient texts in their libraries and contributed to literary writings. They are still very active in southern India. Dear students, let's discuss about our religion Buddhism. Gautama Buddha, the founder of Buddhism, was a reformer of the Hindu religion. He born to a chieftain of a state in the foothills of the Himalayas. He left that life of comfort and east to search for the truth. He wished for the enlightenment so that he could understand why life was so full of pain, disease, and suffering. For many years he meditated at Gaya and after 12 years found the answers he was seeking. His disciples were taught that man must be pure in thought and deed and should follow the Four Noble Truths and Noble Eightfold Path. We will discuss these both topics later on. Buddha preached for 40 years and died in 486 BCE. Dear students, let's talk about the expansion of religion Buddhism. Buddhism further expanded in the region known as Gandhara. Gandhara lies to the west of the rivers Kabul and Indus, and its three main cities were Prushpura means Peshawar, Taxhela means Taxila, and Pushkalavati means Charsadda. This area came to be known for its classical Buddhist art in the Indo-Greco style. This was because when Alexander of Greek crossed into India through Taxila, one of the oldest known universities in the world was at Taxila, and it was the leading learning center of Buddhist teachings in ancient India. Greek influence became prominent in the artwork of Gandhara. The most famous sculpture of this mixture of Indian and Greek art is the statue of the fasting Buddha, which is placed in the Lahore Museum. Dear students, let's discuss about Buddha's Eightfold Path. According to him, a person should have a right belief. You should be very much clear about the truth. Remember that your actions have consequences. He stressed human beings to be clear upon their thoughts. Don't be so judgmental and do not think negative for others. He stressed on speaking truth whatever the circumstances. He emphasized on behaving in a skillful way and not to harm anyone by your words. Moreover, he stressed on right livelihood. It means your income should be pure. He stressed to put your efforts into positive emotions and must be aware of yourself and the emotions of others. He stressed on developing focus so that you are able to meditate. Let's talk about Buddha's Four Noble Truths. He said that life is suffering, or life is another name of hardships. Suffering is caused by greed and ignorance. Suffering can be overcome by meditation and learning. People must follow the Eightfold Path and it is end of suffering. It means that one's suffering can be reduced by following the truth in every manner of life. Dear students, let's talk about the Alexander of Macedon. Due to him, Greek influence was prominent in India and Gandhara. After conquering Persia and Bactria, a young and ambitious Greek general, Alexander, invaded the Gandhara area. Alexander was also called Alexander the Great. He was one of the world's greatest military generals. He created a vast empire that stretched from Macedonia to Egypt and from Greece to part of India. Alexander had decided to conquer the world and reach its end. To achieve that goal, in 326 BCE, he came into India with an army of 50,000 men. He divided his forces into two. One came down from the river Kabul and crossed into India through the Khyber Pass, and the second, led by Alexander himself, came via the Swat Valley. Crossing the river Indus, Alexander joined his other soldiers in the plain of Punjab. MB, the ruler of Taxila, a trading city between the river Indus and the river Jhelum, was the first to defend his kingdom from being captured by Alexander. Instead of fighting, envy won over Alexander by giving him silver, cattle, elephants. Alexander rewarded him by letting him rule his kingdom as a satrap, a governor of a Greek empire. Now the kingdom of the ruler Porus lay between the Chenab and Jhelum rivers. He also decided to stop the advance of Alexander's army. He massed his forces on the banks of the river Jhelum, even though it was a monsoon season, and waited for the Greek forces to attack. Alexander crossed the river secretly by building a bridge of boats and surprised Porus' army. The battle began, and Alexander's army defeated King Porus, who was made a prisoner. Alexander asked Porus how he would like to be treated. Porus replied, "As befits a king." This answer pleased Alexander so much that he let Porus continue as king. After defeating Porus, Alexander first crossed the rivers Chenab and then the Ravi, and reached the territory controlled by the Nanda kings of Magadha, who had a vast army. However, once the Greek had crossed the Beas river, Alexander's soldiers refused to fight any more. For 3 days Alexander waited in his tent for his soldiers to change their minds. They were stubborn, and Alexander was forced to go back to Macedon. He took the route down the river Indus and after 6 months reached the Arabian Sea. Most of his army had left by ship in 325 BCE, but Alexander took the route through Makran on foot and reached Babylon in Mesopotamia. Within 2 years of his expedition to India, Alexander was dead, after attending a huge banquet in Babylon. He was only 33 years of age when he died. My dear students, it's all from my side regarding this chapter. It's your turn now. Read out page number 18, 19, 20, and 21 and follow your homework plan. Till then, Allah Hafiz, take care of yourself, stay home, stay safe.